Hey, I got a fucking weird thing I want to talk about that just popped into my head.
All right, what is it?
Do y'all eat salt and vinegar chips?
Yeah.
No.
You ever get those weird sweats?
I mean, like, I'm a
Like the vinegar sweats.
Fucking what?
I don't know what the fuck it is. Every time I eat something vinegary, like salt and vinegary, like I'll go to fucking Buffalo Wild Wings. I'll get a goddamn basket of potato wedges with the salt and vinegar seasoning.
I just opened my
Nothing goddamn else will do it to me.
January.
Nothing else will do it to me, but the salt and vinegar, that shit makes me like sweat.
Ben, do you,
Yeah,
I don't
wait, Ben, do you get vinegar sweats since you weren't here when Chris asked that amazing question?
No, I do not get vinegar sweats. Chris, are you allergic to vinegar?
You
No,
might
I'm
be
not.
allergic to vinegar.
I'm not allergic to vinegar. It's just if I eat too much, if I consume too much of the vinegary goodness, I'll start sweating, and I don't fucking know
I can,
why.
like, drink a bottle of vinegar and not start fucking sweating.
Hold up. This is Goblincast live on the air.
Oh my god, we're
Fuck.
No, we can't. No, we've got to keep some of the stuff we just did. It wasn't all bad.
Eddie, you've committed yourself to an editing nightmare, and I want you to know
Eddie.
this.
Hi, I'm
Hi.
Ben for the second time.
Hi, Ben. I'm Chris.
How come you only
Again.
say hi to him and not to me, Evie?
It's because you don't get the vinegar sweats.
Okay,
I shouldn't have said hi to any of you.
So we need to
You're
talk
the
about this.
only person on the face.
This is a discussion that we need to have. Chris, what do you mean by start sweating?
I just
like-
I get sweaty. Like
Do you get like
I don't know.
hives? Do you shake? Does
No,
your
it's
itch
I
and
literally
blow up?
just
Chris,
get
are
a
you
little
allergic to
sweaty.
vinegar?
Ben, you shake when you eat cake.
No, I dance.
Okay. No,
You
no,
were
but
just
Chris,
telling me that
okay?
like the cake the other day was making you like shudder.
Chris, on a scale from like
Okay, let me rephrase
no,
this
no,
in a
hold
way
on.
that makes sense.
Okay.
Do you ever eat something spicy and get a little sweaty from that?
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that.
you get
But
that
vinegar's
from
not
vinegar.
spicy.
I get that from vinegar, but I don't get that from the wings. This is pretty much only happens when I go to like Buffalo Wild Wings and I get the salt and vinegar potato wedges because they fucking load it up with the salt and vinegar seasoning, so it's like extra vinegary.
Are you sure
Like
it's
I
not
don't
the
get sweaty
salt?
from the wings.
Wait. When you eat regular, like out of the bag salt and vinegar chips, do you get the vinegar sweats?
It depends on the chip. Like
Right, and when you
the
eat,
Pringles.
like-
Okay, the Pringles
one is
salt and vinegar
particularly
Pringles
vinegary.
are particularly vinegary. I do
when
get a little.
you have a salad with like a balsamic vinaigrette.
Eddie, you know my feelings on lettuce.
Wait.
Eddie will eat it
Wait,
straight.
no, wait,
Chris will-
Lettuce and I are not currently on speaking terms.
Lettuce is null and void of anything good for you. It's
Let
bad for
us
the
move
environment,
on.
and it looks bad.
Hold on. I think one of the funniest stories I've ever been told about Ben was
Oh,
when
no.
it
I don't
was
even know what's coming.
when his ex came to stay with him at his parents' house for a few days while they were out of town. And they had like HelloFresh meals to prepare. And they pulled out of the bag a salad, and Ben threw it directly into the trash.
That's because Ben is the best. And he knows what he's doing because
Like,
lettuce
fucking
is a
hour.
problem.
I pulled it out. I looked at it.
This-
I said,
this
"We don't
post
need
was
this,"
written
and
by
I opened the
Spinach
trash,
Gang.
and it was gone.
Oh man, I only like cold spinach. Like uncooked.
I mean, the thing about cooking spinach is that you no longer have any.
This
What
is
do you
true.
mean?
It like
When
it
you cook
shrinks.
spinach, it disappears.
Like you can
Gotcha.
like I would routinely when I worked in the dining hall, I would make like like sometimes we'd like saute stuff together and I'd throw it into a bowl of food or whatever. Food. Things things that humans eat. But
Sure, we know
if you
about those.
wanted enough spinach to like actually put into a dish, you had to like you had to take like a frying pan and pile about a foot of spinach above the like pan.
Well, spinach isn't
And-
very dense.
I'm glad
Right,
that you.
and like it cooks down in the oil as you saute
Mhm.
it to like these tiny little shriveled, like sad, like dead spinach foreskins, and
That's why you gotta
cook
shred it.
down
and
that like
chop
That's
it
what
up
you
and
wanna
stuff.
call it, huh?
feet
That-
of
Wow.
spinach
that's the
to
verbiage for you.
nothing.
That's
So,
So
not
like
verbal.
once
eat
you begin,
spinach anymore. Okay.
I'm glad you brought up the
Hmm.
dining hall though, because Ben and I used to go to the fucking dining hall and eat like absolute monsters.
Oh my god, we ate like first year college students. I don't know what
Yeah.
you're
Taco
talking
Tuesday,
about.
though.
Well, we
I
would
knew a
go
guy in
like
college who got scurvy.
we would go before.
I
We
also
had
don't know
this
how I didn't get
lecture.
scurvy.
We had this lecture
Theater
class,
101.
Theater 101. And we would go, and depending on if Ben had just woken up or if he
Most
had
likely.
already been up, we would either get
Which
breakfast
only happened
or
when I had
lunch.
work.
But if we were getting lunch, like we'd both get like a plate of food, right? And then we'd have a third plate that was just fries. Like the whole, like it was an
Mhm.
entire
I
plate
remember and
just
miss
stacked
fry
up
plate.
with fries.
I miss fry plate.
Oh man.
I miss sitting in that class to which me and Eddie knew literally every answer.
Oh my god, it was such an easy class. We'd just
Yeah.
play fucking Digimon.
We would sit on our laptops and we would play Digimon World Dawn and Dusk.
I played
One time
a lot
TA
of
called
Animal
us on it,
Crossing in
and so we closed
Psych
Digimon
100.
World Dawn and Dusk and opened up like whatever our social media site of choice at the time was. And then she walked away, and we unminimized Digimon World Dawn and Dusk.
Just kept playing.
Like people think there are rules in college.
Oh my god. Well, that class, there was like, I'm making air quotes here, homework.
Yeah, it was read
And it was
this
like-
3-page play.
No, dude, they were longer than that. It was like read this play or this excerpt from a play, and then you got to answer these questions on it. And so while we were eating lunch / breakfast before the class, we'd pull up the questions, and for like the most part, we'd just be like, that's probably the answer, right? And we'd just be able to guess because the questions were so fucking basic. We'd just guess the answers.
Because
And then
it
if,
was
like-
homework made for people that hadn't done the assignment.
Yeah, and then if there was a question that was like very specific, you know, like, oh, what did she say to the captain in scene, 3? Then we would like go to the fucking document and go to scene 3 and then Control F captain, and then be like, oh, okay, that's what she said to the captain.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
I lost so that was the only class I ever took, and I didn't take very many, but that was the only class I ever took that required a clicker because it was like a full lecture class.
Yeah, there was like there was a lot of kids in that class.
Yeah,
I just pronounced
so
kids like
that one
kids.
had a clicker.
I don't know why
and I
did
got a
that.
clicker with all of the like recommended like syllabus books that they made us buy.
Oh my god,
And I had
one
the
of those
clicker for,
books
like,
was
3
$200
weeks.
fucking dollars, and we never got assigned to read anything out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked, I fucking sent an email to the I'm sorry I'm interrupting your story, Ben, but I didn't have a lot of money at the time, okay? And I sent it, all my books were for all my classes, right? Like the most expensive book was like $50, and then that book was $200. And I sent an email to the professor like before the semester started. I said, hey, I'm in this class. This book is $200. Are we going to be using this heavily, or am I going to be able to like read along with somebody else if I know someone in the class, or like X, Y, and Z, right? Like asking him stuff like that. And he was like, no, the book is required. It's going to be used in the class. Not a single fucking time were we ever
Oh my
assigned a
God.
reading from that book. They just wanted you to spend $200 on it.
I bet you he was the co-author.
I was so mad, dude. I was
Yeah.
so mad.
I just I can't wrap my head around why a textbook costs that much. Like I get that like there's a lot of research and like work that goes into creating it, but also like, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Like,
like you put out a
dude.
textbook, and then every person who takes the course buys the textbook. You have a guaranteed return on investment. Why does it cost $200 fucking dollars?
Right? It's like, come on, please, I'm begging you.
So Ben, go ahead with your story about the clicker.
Oh, the story was that I lost the clicker after 3 weeks, and then I just walked up to the front and said, "Hey, I was here," and they said, "Okay, Ben," and I walked away. So the TAs knew my name
because you didn't have a clicker.
because I didn't have a clicker. And the one time a TA walked up and said, "Hey, you shouldn't be doing this," I stopped and they walked away, and I opened it back up, and they did not look twice at me. They knew my fucking name.
Mm-hmm.
They had the student registries. They could have been like, "Ben Kuehl, cut it out," at the front of the class to try to,
Literally
and they
nobody
just
gave-
walked away.
Like, I think the thing that like really did it for me with college was realizing how little anybody gave like any shits. Because I don't know if you guys remember high school. I know that like most of us black a
Oh,
lot
God,
of it
I
out.
hope
I
not.
do remember
like-
high school. Yeah.
But like I don't know if
remember
you
that
guys
I went to
remember
high school.
having teachers tell you like, oh, in college they're not gonna put up with this, as if like I didn't like walk into college and then walk into class 15 minutes late and then my professor walked in 15 minutes later. Like,
Wait, why was the class still there? If the professor's 15 minutes late, you're legally allowed to leave.
you are.
Well, in
but
college,
like,
it doesn't matter. You can just leave whenever.
well, because with the,
What are they gonna do, stop you?
sometimes I would walk into my classroom that like my next class was in less than 5 minutes, and there would be like 6 people in there that were not in my class, and they didn't leave.
I'd like to say, when I was in college, I worked as a classroom technology specialist, which means that I would.
Oh my god, I fucking forgot that you did this.
You have to like
Yeah.
reteach professors how to
Yeah,
use
I'd walk into
projector.
classes that were actively going. They would call us and say, my projector is not working. I don't know what's going on. And I would walk in, I would hit 2 buttons, and it would be fixed.
Mm-hmm.
There was one class that called me 3 weeks in a row. Very nice old woman teaching it in the theater building. And I walked in, and the first day she said, "What's your name?" And I said, "Ben." She said, "Everybody give a thank you to Ben," after I fixed their problem in a good 15 seconds. It took me longer to walk to that classroom than it did to fix this problem. And so everybody chuckled a bit, and I walked out. She called me next week, and I opened the door, and she said, "Oh, it's Ben again." And a few people clapped. Because it was a theater class, so I guess they were used to doing that for performances. And she called me again a 3rd week in a row, and I walked in and everybody clapped. Every person, including the professor, clapped when I walked into that. When I walked into that room,
social
I closed
experiment
the
on
door
you.
and laughed a little, and then walked back in and fixed the same problem for the 3rd time.
This is the first
no time
everybody
at all.
clapped story that I've believed.
This is a grandiose thing. It's just I, as a person who the professor believed could fix this problem, even though any person in that room could have fixed the problem.
Oh, yeah.
Any student could have fixed this issue.
Here's
they
the thing.
They were
No
clapping
student
ironically.
during my shift,
Well-
3 weeks in a row.
No, I'm gonna make a statement here. Nobody in a class, wants to be the one who tells the professor, "Oh, I can just fix that for you," because then they'll never leave you alone.
Yeah, then it's
Well,
then
the
it's
other
your
thing
job
is,
to
I
then
made this
class will
mistake.
continue.
Well, yes, but also like I made this mistake with one of my writing professors who was also just like a total piece of work. She like did like sword dancing in the middle of the class. Total like amazing, astonishing, super
piece of work
powerful,
in a good way. You don't hear that
Stunning
often.
and brave.
super powerful.
I would
but
like to tell the
she,
listeners, the reason Chris has not spoken in a while is because he's pooping.
yeah, yeah, everyone should know.
Just
but
felt
so,
they should know that while he's not here.
So this professor, refused to like touch a computer, refused to learn how to do it. And the only time that she would use computers for class is if she like absolutely had to and could not get around it. Like every now and again, she would want to show like a video or like a
Wait,
clip
hold
from
up.
a movie.
Hold that thought. Remember exactly where you are in the story. We all got together and decided to, take an hour out of our lives to record the podcast. And I know that
more
we're
like
gonna,
2.
I know that we're gonna cut some stuff that happened. But we're not an hour in yet. And Chris left at some point to poop. So even if we didn't have to cut some stuff, Chris still would have left to poop.
If we had touched on college, I guess.
Yep.
But yeah, he got up and he said, "I gotta poop real bad."
So Evey,
Yeah.
continue that
And now
story.
I'm back, you sons of bitches.
Oh,
All
welcome back.
Welcome back, Chris.
okay,
Evey's in the middle of the
so-
story.
She directly refused to interact with any computer. So the first time that she came in and was like, "I want to show a video today," she said,
Chris, how was your poop?
"Before I call IT, can somebody tell do any of you guys want to help me figure out how to get a DVD into the computer and
Oh,
make all the
no.
volume and everything work?" And nobody said anything because we
Smart.
were frightened.
Smart
We
on
were
their part.
scared. And so she tries to do it herself. And
Did she run freecupholder.exe?
she manages to get the DVD in She manages to get it to like get the media player open and get the DVD to start playing, but she can't figure out how to get the volume on because she full screened the video. I don't know how she figured that out, but she full screened the video and then couldn't figure out how to get it out of full screen.
To turn
Couldn't
the
figure out
volume
that
up.
the computer was muted and just kept hitting the like volume remote for the projector
Oh,
and
that's
making
amazing.
increasingly sadder
Oh,
noises.
no.
So I stood up and I said, "All right, Catherine, I need to help you.
Oh, it's
I
Catherine.
can't."
That's
I-
that makes the story even better.
Well, no, not that Catherine.
There's more than one Catherine.
Yeah, this was a
There was
not
a
as good
professor
Catherine.
named Catherine that we all called Catherine. But I
Yeah,
guess
this
there
was
were
a not
two.
as good Catherine.
Okay.
But anyway, so I was like, I have to help you. I can't keep watching this happen. So I took the video out of full screen. I unclicked the, the mute button on the volume slider down in the taskbar.
Did you forget to turn down the volume on the projector?
No, I did that too.
Ah, damn it.
I undid the mute button. I turned the volume back down to a reasonable level, and then we turned on Fahrenheit 451. Which,
Instead of reading it.
yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Alright.
that's a conversation for another time.
Not a conversation for our comedy podcast.
No, not at all. And she straight, like, I swear she has tears in her eyes. And she's like, "Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. You're a genius. You're a darling. You're a star." And I'm like, "Yes, I know. Thank you very much." Anytime that she needs to use the computer from then on out, she looks at me and says, "Eve, our
Yeah.
technological mastermind, our
Oh, God.
computer wizard, our PC mage." And I'm like, "Please, don't do
PC
this.
mage?
Please stop hurting me like
Oh,
this.
God.
Did the
Please
words
stop
PC
causing me
mage
this
actually
immense
leave her
terror."
mouth?
Yep.
Oh my god.
What a legend.
And she never thought to hit the button that says call CTS that's in
Well-
every classroom in that
Well,
college.
she-
At
it
the
was-
beginning of the story, she said, "Before I call tech support, does anyone know how to do this?"
But then she kept trying
She
without
said that
calling
she-
tech support.
She said that she felt really bad every time she had to call tech support for anything.
See,
They
what
just
she
Because-
sit in
didn't
a closet and watch Netflix.
what she didn't know was
Mhm.
that the way to not feel bad was to have your whole classroom clap for the tech support. That was
It
the
really did feel good. It was the only time I was like happy to have. Well, okay, that's not true.
Ben. That was such a
I
great
started
job. You just
it was a
watched
great job.
Netflix,
I started
dude.
playing XCOM in that job. I started watching
Ooh.
Parks and Rec for the first time in that job. I did very little work.
That's when
I got
got my
paid
first
to sit
when I
in
got
that
my
closet and
first
wait.
office job. When I got my first office job, I would sit down and like just watch YouTube videos.
Nice.
I would play Civ.
Nice.
Because I found out pretty early on that I worked, and I think it's because everyone else was doing exactly what I was doing, by which I mean not working for 7 hours of the day and just doing an hour's worth of work at the end of the day. So when I first started working, I worked so quickly and so efficiently because I was like, "Ooh, new job. I have to be like fully working for 8 hours of the day." That I got through the work, which was a limited amount of work, to be clear, so quickly that the supervisors were like, "Wow, I don't know what we're going to do in a few months because all of this work is going to be done." So I thought, I need to slow down for my own job security. So I cut down to doing about a third of the work. And I still only worked for actually about 2 hours out of my workday. But at this point it was calculated.
Yeah, yeah.
So I
for
would
sure.
work for an hour, play Civ for 3.
Okay.
I think their internet died.
Who?
Ben and Evie.
Why? I just heard Evie.
They just left.
Oh, they left the call. Oh, I sorry. I was.
Did you not hear the boo?
Wait. No, it's for me. They're still here.
Oh, they're both gone for me.
All right. Well, Chris, we gotta entertain the people while they're gone.
Fuck.
Shit. Oh, okay. Now, wait. Am I still here? Chris, am I still here? Chris? Join.
Nope,
Hello.
Ah, there we go.
Hello.
Howdy doodle.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know if that was like.
It
my
was
end. Did you
Discord.
guys
No,
disconnect?
it was
Discord.
Discord. Discord
so
went
you
down.
guys both got bipped off, so we thought it might have been your internet.
This is just a rough night, I feel like.
Discord pooped its pants. I have
I've
a
got some-
question.
I've got some fun Skook news.
Should
What
we
does
have
Skook
added
mean?
Kara?
Skook is shorthand for Schuylkill County,
Which
Is
is
that
not
where you
spelled
live?
how you would
where I
expect.
am from.
Okay, tell me about the Skook.
The one local gun
Skook
store that
kinda
I
sounds
like
the name of like a cryptid.
It also
It
kind
does.
of sounds like we're very close to being racist.
Like, oh, watch out for the Skook. It lives in the hills or something like that. You know
It also sounds kind of like we're very close to being racist.
how?
The Skook.
What's racist about that?
I'm not going to get into this. Chris, you have a story.
No, what is racist about the Skook? It's a cryptid that lives in the hills.
I am taking offense at you thinking Skook is racist, seeing as I'm from there.
I didn't say it's racist. It's a cryptid.
Well, not you.
Let's move on.
Anyway.
What would the Skook would be hairy, right?
Oh yeah, totally,
Like, okay, you
definitely.
know,
Harry smells like Yingling all the time.
I think it'd be like
covered
a
in
cross
wing sauce.
between
From
the
the Addams
Squonk
Family?
and the Sasquatch.
You know, cousin It from the Addams Family. It would be like similar to that.
It'd be cousin it. Just all of the hair would have like caked on wing sauce, and it'd smell like Yingling 24/7.
Hmm
and
I
then
want wings now.
when they finally capture it, it turns out it's just a dude. Like it's just a really hairy dude who like lives out, you know, off the grid, but he breaks into like the garbage can of the wing place to eat the leftover wing.
Yo, get me out of this fucking cage, butt.
I mean, that's just me.
What are you doing? What are you doing putting me up in here? I'm just living up here in my life. I'm just up here up in the county just doing my own business. What you doing? Putting me in this fucking cage.
This has to be a recurring character now. Is the Skook?
The
Oh,
Skook,
no.
man.
Oh,
So
we
Chris,
can't
you
do
have
this.
news. You have
You have Skook news.
Skook news.
Yeah, my favorite local gun store just got a tank.
Your favorite
What?
local gun store just got a tank?
Yep, it's
like
a Sherman.
for sale?
No, not for They do reenactments and stuff, and
Porsche
they
voice.
just got a Sherman, a World War
I
II
think
Sherman, and that
you
they.
should be
And
able
what's
to
it
buy
just like
it.
sitting on the front lawn or something?
I mean, they have it. They have it out front on
I mean,
display
let
for
me
now because
preface
they
by
just got
saying
it.
That's dope. But is it just chilling?
Does it function?
Please
Yeah,
tell me
it drives. It drives, but the main gun is inoperable.
Yeah, that's what they have to do to sell it.
Well, no, it's not for sale. Like it's
No,
their.
no,
That's what.
The guy that owns the store
Whoever
is.
sold it to the gun store.
Oh right,
Yeah.
right, yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure they have the correct permitting and stuff for it anyway, but it's
Can you have
just
the correct
easier.
permitting to own a functional tank?
This is America, Ben.
Absolutely.
Of course
Hey
you can.
guys, can I have a tangent real quick?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah, they're
came home
downstairs with the
today.
orange peels and the.
So when I got home today, I found a couple of my socks in the middle of the floor, and I thought that maybe when I
That
was
maybe the
getting dressed,
Skook had broken in.
yeah, I thought that maybe when I had gotten dressed this morning,
He's a
that
foot
I
fetish
had
now.
like dragged some of the socks out of my laundry basket, which is in the middle of my room. That I had like dragged some of the socks out while I was grabbing clothes, and like that they got left on the floor. It turns out that what had actually happened, because what I just witnessed happening, was my kitten pulling socks out laboriously through the holes in my laundry basket
Ooh.
to bat them across the floor.
Hey,
And
you
then
guys-
she saw that they were covered in a combination of Frank's Red Hot and Miracle.
Well, something
Well, the
that
thing you have to
I
understand about the Skook is that he's not into feet; he's into socks.
Oh.
think
You gotta hide your
I,
microphone.
I discovered something
Oh,
deeply distressing about my kitten, and it's that like she'll take one of my socks.
And
And
she'll bring
she
it all the
will-
way down to the basement and scream at me until I chase her that that's wrong.
Yeah, she won't like play with my socks. She will just like she'll grab one and she'll get it across the room and then she'll lay on top of it and scream at the top of her lungs.
She says, "I'm misbehaving. Come
Like,
yell at me."
She's not playing with it and she's ignoring all of her other toys to just take my sock lay directly on top of the sock, and go, meow.
So, that's great. Ben, you asked us a question earlier about if we could bring one item to a deserted island. What would the item
Oh
be?
my fucking god. We're not just cutting that.
Pair of socks.
I have a question. What do you mean deserted island? Like,
Uninhabited.
there's no people? Are there
There's
animals?
no people. There's no
Are
people.
there are there snakes there?
Are there animals on the island?
You would be hard pressed to find an island that does not have animals on.
Are there
Okay,
snakes
but this
there?
is a hypothetical island, Ben.
Are there snakes there?
Yeah.
I'm not
there are
asking
Yo,
about specific
island.
species,
Guys.
but are there animals?
Guys,
Yes.
the hypothetical was so that Ben could make a bad joke.
Yeah, the
I don't
hypothetical
even
was that I could say
remember
in
what
3
the
words, the
joke
thing I would
was.
bring to a deserted island is the Eurasian continent. Come on.
I don't
It
get
was
the
just a
joke.
bad setup for a bad joke and a
It's
bad
like-
intro that's probably going to get cut, so this is just even more
Wait, Ben,
mysterious.
I don't get
It's like
the-
if
Explain
if
the
you're
joke to me,
clarifying and
'cause
you say,
that
"Is it
makes
in the
jokes
Pacific
funnier."
Ocean?" I'd bring the Atlantic Ocean.
Wait,
like-
Ben.
Huh? You want me to explain the joke? 'Cause it
Explain the
makes it
joke to
funnier?
me because that obviously makes every joke funnier, and I don't get the joke.
It's the punchline is the mental image of shifting the Eurasian continent to somewhere in the middle of the ocean. Come on.
That's funny?
It's absurdist humor.
I guess I'm not an absurdist. I
Okay. I
quit.
guess it's just bag on Ben hour.
I quit.
I mean,
Fuck this
listen,
guy.
Ben,
Haha, honk honk. That's my clown nose.
Ben, everybody's got to.
I know that wasn't supposed to be like the big joke, but that landed better than all the rest. Have you guys seen one of my
That's a class
favorite
definition.
reaction
Shut up,
images, which is have you guys seen one of my favorite reaction images? It's a picture of a jar and it just says emergency clown nose.
Stop trying to make jokes here. There are tears streaming down my face. I sound like a
comedy
dying
graveyard.
squeak toy.
Oh God.
God damn it. I can't wait. I had to throw my glasses off so I can wipe my fucking eyes.
You could have just taken them off calmly.
Okay,
Nope.
so. Okay, guys, that sound that I think Ben and Chris and I were all making.
I'm still making.
We were laughing so hard we all turned into fucking seagulls.
That sound where you're like, where like like it's a very like where you're laughing, and then you're like, I'm done laughing, it's over, and then you can't control that you're still laughing, so it's like a like that noise. That's probably the Skook's mating call.
Guys, it's coming.
It all comes back to the Skook. Chris is the only one in range. Chris, barricade your doors.
Run!
Shit.
Chris,
He's
if
here.
you start to smell wing sauce, you gotta barricade the door.
Well, I can't tell if the Yingling smell is me or the Skook.
Oh no!
Chris, look down.
Chris, remember me.
Are
I'm
you
looking
the
down.
Skook?
I see feet and
Oh, so then you
a
can't be the
desk.
Skook.
Yeah, if you're not wearing socks, you're not the Skook.
No, I'm not wearing. Okay, good. I'm not the
you're
Skook.
good.
All
Wait,
is
You're
well.
fine.
I'm wearing socks.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
No,
but
you're
not-
not the Skook. It's okay.
Yeah,
Are you
you
sure?
already know.
Okay.
You are incapable
Um,
of being the Skook by
Are you not
proximity.
sure?
So I think I'd probably bring a knife to the deserted island.
Just in case of the Skook.
In case of the Skook.
You never know. I think I
I'd bring knife
think-
stick. It's a knife on a stick.
that's two things.
See, I would bring
No.
a
Feels
dozen
like 20
wings.
things,
It's my
right? 'Cause
knife stick.
It's a knife, a stick, and rope.
I would
It's my
bring my
knife stick.
fighting stick.
You You'd bring a hitbox?
My fighting stick.
That's a good thing.
I would bring.
My fighting stick is an L bracket attached to a 2x4.
So that's
Yeah,
two
he used
things,
it
is
to
what you're
fight off
saying.
the deer that attacked his
did
I
fight
dog.
used
deer
it.
with
Yeah,
it
it was
once.
great.
What?
Yeah, I had to fight off a deer in
You
Ithaca.
hit,
It was
you
fucking
hit a
great.
deer with it?
It kicked Penny.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it was horrific.
He grabbed the thing closest to the door, which for some reason wasn't the sword.
Well, I didn't want to kill it, and then I
I-
really wanted to kill it.
I woke
The
up
deer
to hearing
kicked
Tara
your
in the
dog?
yard yelling, "Get off my dog!"
Holy
Yeah, pretty
shit,
much.
dude.
Horrified me. And yeah, there's this deer out of nowhere just like doing a full drop kick.
Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mhm.
It's fine.
crazy.
Penny.
It wasn't even like scared
I'm
either.
glad Penny's okay. How long?
Yeah.
How long ago was this? Like 2 years?
Like,
a
like,
year?
yeah, like
Close
2
to
years.
Yeah, I guess you haven't lived in Ithaca for over a year.
She
now,
was
huh?
Penny was fine. She didn't break anything. She was bruised for a little while.
Jeez, I'm
Yeah.
crow.
And Chris, when running out the door to fight off a deer, grabbed the 2x4 with an L bracket instead of the swords that were kept
Or-
by the door in that house.
Well,
Like
I mean,
guns
here's the thing though. Like
or-
historically speaking, swords weren't really used to hunt deer, so Chris couldn't know that it would be effective.
That's
Whereas
true.
2x4s with L brackets attached to them.
They've been the
Use
weapon
those
of
to beat
choice
whatever.
for, decades.
The patrician's choice.
I mean, listen, you don't bring a sword to an L bracket fight.
that's what they say. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, but
see,
you
I
can bring
would
a
have,
knife to a fist fight.
just, like any sensible Pennsylvania man, brought my gun. But I was living in New York at the time,
Yeah.
and I didn't
You
want to
would've
spend the
gone to
rest of my life
prison.
in prison for existing with a firearm. So
we do treat them a little different here.
Just a smidge.
Tiny bit.
I mean, I do
God damn
remember.
it! Stop answering this question.
I do remember
Well,
one
the
of
other
our
answers
friends,
were cut, so
No, they fucking weren't. They better not be.
So I do remember one of our friends,
'Cause then you'd
one
be
of my
cutting my whole
one of my
rant about
very good
Digimon World.
pals from freshman year of college, wanted to order
I don't have any
weapons
friends.
on the internet all the time,
who is this?
and he thought, and Dylan,
Okay.
Okay.
That it
And he
suddenly
thought-
makes sense. Okay.
Yep.
he thought, it is illegal to own these items in New York State. I wonder if they will still ship it to me. And the answer, several throwing knives later and several shurikens later, was yes. Yes, they will still ship it.
Yeah.
And several butterfly knives later, and
I miss Dylan Bender.
Yeah, me too.
Guys, I'm still coming down from the high of that squonk joke. Or it's not squonk, skook. Fuck.
Yup.
Yeah.
they're in love.
Wait, remember
it's the Squonk's shitty roommate.
Skook.
oh man.
I mean, if I'm the squonk
Rolling
and Chris
Memphis
is the
lives down the
skook,
hall.
Guys, so I work at an establishment that exists. There's
Weird.
a vending machine in the break room, okay? I don't know if y'all know this, but vending machines, they get refilled by like vending machine companies.
Mhm.
You know, they come in and refill it every once in a while. And then when you buy stuff from it, you're buying it from them. You know, it's just a machine instead of a store. That's how vending machines
Yeah.
work. So, there's a vending machine that has drinks in it, and there's a Pepsi slot, there's Diet Pepsi slot, there's ginger ale, there's Gatorade, yellow Gatorade, which I
Yeah.
forgot that I really liked yellow Gatorade until
Mm.
they put it in the vending machine.
no,
yellow Gatorade's pretty
Gatorade
good.
is piss.
It's
Gotta
tasty
be blue,
piss. And there's water. Okay,
Like-
that's what's in the vending machine.
Okay,
Here's
so a lot
the
of
problem.
options.
This started, gosh, probably a month ago now. Maybe more than that. Maybe more than a month ago. Okay. Everyone who works at my store really likes Pepsi. We're a Pepsi store. We're not a Coke store. Okay.
Good, as it should be.
Like one time, one of the people who works behind the customer care desk like brought in a Coke, like a bottle of Coke that they brought in from home or whatever, and like everyone like made a comment, including myself. Like that's the culture. Anyway, so one day, one of my coworkers goes to the vending machine, puts in $1.50, clicks the Pepsi button, and an orange crush drops out.
That's a
What a
fucking wonderful
victory.
surprise.
What
Okay.
a fucking score.
Here's the thing. There's not even an orange crush button on the machine. Okay, but they clicked
So
Pepsi,
there isn't.
and an orange crush dropped out. Now I've just told you that this is a Pepsi store, okay? So this person really wanted a Pepsi, and what they got was an orange crush. They were not happy about it. Okay? We were all very perplexed, you know? But later that day, another person went to the machine to buy a Pepsi, and they pressed the button, and a Pepsi came out. And so everyone was like, okay, it must have been just they fucked up, they put one orange crush in there.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah, every now and,
And then
again
the next
you put
person
an
that bought a
orange crush where it
Pepsi
doesn't belong.
got an orange crush. And what we discovered was that it was going back and forth. Orange crush Pepsi, orange crush Pepsi.
You're
So-
playing Russian roulette with your
The
lunch
guy
soda?
who had filled, no, it was just 1-1. The guy who had filled the vending machine, we don't know why, but he put in a bunch of Pepsis and then started alternating between orange crush and Pepsi.
Was he running out of Pepsis?
I don't know.
And thought nobody's gonna get this far?
I don't know, but me and my coworker Angela, we were both very upset about this. And we were like, the next time that vending machine motherfucker comes in here, we are going to give him a piece of our mind, okay? No, because you spend money, right? And you expect to get the thing that you bought, but you get something else, you know?
And nobody at your store thought, maybe we should call the vending machine company.
Well, we did call the vending machine company, and we said, you got to come fix this, right?
All these fucking crushes.
So what happened, coincidentally, or maybe on purpose, conspiracy, the guy came in on a day that we weren't there, neither of us. Okay, but the machine was back to Pepsi. So it was okay. You know, all right, you fucked up, but you fixed it. Okay.
They should have just replaced all the Pepsis with orange crush.
Well, a week or so goes by, and lo and behold, someone buys a Pepsi, and an orange crush comes out.
Oh my god.
And then later that day, someone
I
else...
thought we got past this.
Later that day, someone else buys a Pepsi, and an orange crush comes out. And so this time what happened was
Oh
a
my
bunch
God,
of
I
Pepsis
predicted the
and then a
future.
bunch of orange crushes. There's not even any more Pepsis in the machine this
Oh my
time.
god.
It's a goddamn madhouse in the store, okay? Everyone's on edge. Everyone's aggravated. The atmosphere in
Nobody
the...
thought, I should go out and buy
The
a 24
atmosphere-
pack of
Angela
Pepsi."
did. She went out and bought a 24-pack of Pepsi. That is what happened. But
Okay.
the atmosphere in the store, due to this vending machine situation, was as if we
Fiasco.
were all lifelong smokers who had just quit cold turkey a couple of days ago. That was the atmosphere in this store. Right? Because here's the problem. The
This
problem...
goddamn Pepsi's the only thing that gets me through my goddamn day.
The problem... No. The problem wasn't that we couldn't get Pepsi. The problem was that you could, but then it wasn't. Like, the problem was that the option for Pepsi was there, but then it was actually Orange Crush.
Yeah, it's like
And-
like having your choices stripped from you.
And then recently, a couple days ago, actually, the vending machine Pepsi truck pulls up, right? And one of the managers is like, oh, I think that's the vending machine guy. Angela and I come running, okay? And the guy walks in, and it's a different fucking guy. And we're like, hey,
It's like come
okay.
back and answer for your
We're like,
fucking
what's going on with this
crimes."
situation? And he's like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I was on vacation. They must have sent a different guy. So what happened is that some motherfucker, okay, who this isn't his area or his district or whatever, okay, was sent here because the other guy was on vacation, and he was just like, I'm gonna fuck with these people. That's what happened.
like,
That's
I'll
the
never have to
conclusion
see
of the
them again.
story.
I will never have to answer
Somebody
for
just
my bottle
decided
crimes.
to make your lives a little worse.
Yeah. Anyway, though, so the guy who's supposed to fill our vending machine, he put only Pepsi in the Pepsi slot, and he also took all the water out of the water slot and put Pepsi in there, too. Because we told
Nice.
him, look here to the left of the vending machine. Do you see this water fountain? It's full of free cold water. We're not going to buy the water. Put Pepsi in there. And then he did. So the story has a happy ending.
It does.
But now you have two buttons that make Pepsi.
Yeah, one of them
Can
says Aquafina, but that's not true as Pepsi.
Can I tell you guys about a slightly less funny vending machine story, but
No,
in
listen,
the
don't
year-
short sell your story. It's way funnier.
Okay. In the year of our Lord 2015, I was working in an
never mind, we
office
don't want to
job
hear this.
that
I was
had
waiting to make that joke a little later, but you
Um,
stole my thunder.
in 2015, I was working this office job, and we had a
A
vending
mending
machine.
machine.
We had a vending machine in a little alcove, like a catty corner to the office kitchen, and nobody ever used it. Because like most of the people working in the office were like older folks, and they brought their own drinks, and like no one was really drinking soda, which is fine. But and you know, like I ended up drinking a lot of water while I was there because I was like, I don't know, people were good influences on me, and I felt disgusting.
That's good.
So one day I was like, I need to, you know,
shit.
What?
What the fuck?
Guys,
was
the
that?
Skook just kicked in my fucking wall. And he's come to inform me that in Schuylkill County, we don't say catty corner, we say kitty corner. Help!
Alright. Okay. Well, anyway, the vending machine was
We
in
need to add the
an
Skook to
alcove
the
kitty
banner.
corner to the office kitchen. But so I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I need a soda. I haven't had a soda in a day, and I need a soda. So I go to the vending machine, and I go and I look at the options, and I'm thinking, there's Pepsi, there's water, there's Powerade, there's Pepsi, there's Mountain Dew, and there's Mountain Dew Code Red. Delicious, spectacular, astonishing, show-stopping. So I push the Mountain Dew Code Red button, and out comes a Mountain Dew Code Red. And I think, wonderful, spectacular, so happy, never been done before. I get back to my desk, and I look at this Mountain Dew Code Red bottle. And the label looks a little faded. And when I open the bottle, it doesn't go it goes
Oh, shit.
and I'm thinking, what is going on with this bottle of Mountain Dew Code Red?
Was it full of ants?
And I take a sip, and it tastes
Oh god, you
kinda
took a
normal.
sip of the ants?
There's no ants.
No, not a single ant.
Yeah.
Wait, are there any aunts?
No.
Okay.
So I take a sip, and I think, well, it tastes okay, but like something is definitely off.
Well, it
so
sounds
I
like it
inspect-
wasn't. It sounds like it was flat.
Well, it wasn't.
Okay.
It just made a weird sound.
Was it
It
like
just
6
something,
years old?
something was off. So
Go
I
on.
inspected the bottle, and what I did discover is that it did expire in 2012
Oh my god.
Oh goodness.
and had been in that vending machine since 2012.
Yeah.
Probably since 2011.
And what I discovered then in that moment was why nobody used the vending machine.
Wait, nobody used the vending machine because nobody used the vending machine?
Because the vending machine hadn't been
But, like,
refilled or serviced
It probably would have been if people
in
had bought
5
stuff out
years.
of it, right?
I mean, yes and no, because on one hand, okay, yeah, if nobody buys it, you don't have to restock it. But after a few years,
Yeah.
you know, maybe go make sure the shit is still good in there.
I have another vending machine story. It's a shorter one. And
Welcome to Goblincast Live on the Air, a podcast about vending machines.
Yeah.
We had the SCP episode, and now we have a vending machine episode, like any podcast.
We had a
Interestingly
Digimon
enough, they're the
episode, but it
same
is lost
episode.
to the ether.
It'll don't worry, it might make a comeback. Anyway,
Y'all, the Skook has whispered sweet nothings in my ear, and he's holding me hostage unless I inform you that up there north the mountain, but they sometimes say Biantney instead of catty corner or kitty corner, and it's very
They say
confusing.
what?
right.
Biantney.
Chris, did you just get laid on our podcast by the Skook?
No, I didn't. I'm
Not
very
yet.
scared.
Nothing's into your ear.
Okay.
Look, he's gonna suffocate me with his gigantic
hair?
12-foot long buffalo sauce covered beard, and I'm scared.
You know, my favorite thing about college was that people who had like one of the bigger meal plans, the meal plans came with like bonus bucks that you could spend like at the vending machines. Like it was like the money that you loaded onto the ID cards, but you could only spend it like on like food and stuff at the
on food.
like-
That's what it was. It was only on food.
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
so many 1 a.m. sandwiches using that shit.
Well, my
Bruh.
favorite time of year was because the bonus bucks didn't roll over. So at the end of the year, all of these kids that had the meal plans that gave them like hundreds of bonus bucks, or whose parents loaded up a bunch of bonus bucks for them, would be like, hey, semester ends in 5 days and I have $300. Who wants a bunch of fucking ice cream? And we would just go
That was like freshman year.
when you guys bought that pallet of Arizona.
No, that wasn't with bonus, but that was junior year. We would. I'll tell that story in a second. But that was like freshman year. Someone had like 300 bonus bucks left at the end of the semester, and they were with me and Ben and a couple other people, and they were like, "Help me spend these." And Ben and I were like, "All of them?" We were like, we got sandwiches, we
Challenge
loaded them up,
accepted.
we got like all the fucking chips in the world. That was a great
Yeah.
time.
It's like you walk in and you buy out the whole
It's like
Yeah.
snack store.
The sub shop in the bottom of our dorm would run out of the good stuff a few days before the semester ended.
Mhm.
Yeah. I would just, like, anytime I had bonus bucks left, I'd go and buy, like, 10 Freels.
Oh my god, Freels, dude.
I miss the Freels, guys.
fucking forgot about Freels.
Oh,
But
fucking
anyway,
Freels. You can get
junior
Freels at
year,
Wawa.
Me and
You
a
can get
guy
knockoff
that
Freels
Evey
at,
later dated, we lived together, and there was this place not far off campus. It was kind of like a convenience store, but they had food. Like they had a lot of food. And if you ordered
Just
food,
like a deli.
yeah, if you ordered food from there, they'd also deliver anything that they sold, but you had to have at least one hot food item on the order. So
Which, like, pretty reasonable.
what we would do is we would order like sandwiches and then also 20 Arnold Palmers. And so the fucking dude would like come up to our dorm carrying a fucking pallet of Arnold Palmers with 2 sandwiches on top in a little bag. But like here's the thing, like we did this so many times that like the guy, you know, like got to know us a little bit.
I'd go into their room and they'd be like, "Do you want an iced tea?"
We were just we were lords of the iced tea. We were handing them out, man. We would go
Yeah,
down
like,
to like
fucking
events and stuff on campus, and we would always show up with we each carry an iced tea and 2 in the backpack for later. Because we would do this like every 2 weeks. We would order 20 Arnold Palmers.
I'm really sad that this was after I left.
Ben, this wouldn't have happened if you were there, because I would have lived with you instead of Zach.
That is true.
And listen,
Wait, no, you wouldn't have, because I would have been stuck with Will.
no, Ben, I would have saved you. Okay.
You couldn't, because I was going to be in a circle and I had already committed.
Oh shit. Yeah. All right. Then I guess it would have happened. But
Dark
here's the thing,
times.
for
Very
you know,
dark times.
for all that not being a good boyfriend to Evey, Zach sometimes had good ideas about food.
Yeah, that was, like, a pretty damn good idea. Like, pretty damn good. It was also in that room surrounded by Arnold Palmers that I got Pulsefire Ezreal out of a mystery gift.
That's true. That was a good room. That room was huge for no reason.
That room had a lot. It was, like, very lucky.
Well, we also we lived in the same building as the music fraternity, and right down the hall there was like a room that was locked just for them, and all the members had a key, and there was a piano in there. And so sometimes like at 11 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday, like there would just be like a bunch of them in there playing piano and like singing fucking choir songs, not like religious choir songs, but like it was weird. It was a weird place to live. And like, you know, it's the weekend, so you want to sleep in a little. It's college, and you get woken up by like, you know, they're all, you know, good at singing, but you'd get woken up by like this choir of men.
Like a Gregorian choir.
Yeah. So it was very
Singing
strange.
like the
So you
Halo
wake up
opening.
at 11
Yeah, like,
o'clock
imagine waking up and there are
to a
12 men
choir of
singing the Halo
men.
theme
You grab
over
an
your
Arnold
head.
Palmer from the stack of 20. Shit, yeah, because I had a mini fridge, and they didn't all fit in there.
God, so like, I know
My
that,
mini fridge was just full of cheese.
So I know that my Will was not a great roommate. And I was the one that brought the mini fridge, so really he couldn't criticize anything I put in there.
Mm-hmm.
But there was like after an event wherein apples are the theme.
Applefest.
Yeah, sure. I thought we were trying to lead people away from where our college was.
What we said it was in Ithaca. Why do
We
they
don't
care?
live there anymore. They can track it down if they want to. What are they gonna do?
What are they
Okay,
gonna do?
so, like,
apply? Like
We
what?
came back from Applefest, and I was in like full I don't want to be here anymore mode at that point. Like I was just waiting to leave campus. And I lived for about a week and a half off of a pie that I kept in the fridge. And I would wake up on like a weekend or whatever, and Will would be sitting at his desk playing Dota because he had been there since 7 in the morning on a Saturday. And I would open the fridge, and I was in my boxers, and I would pull out the pie, and it had a fork in it, and I would eat some pie, and I would put it back and close the fridge and go back to sleep. And this man was not a good roommate, but he never said a fucking word
Yeah.
about that nonsense.
I,
I'd wake up in the
man.
middle of the night, and I would open up my 2 gallons of apple cider, and I would start chugging, and then I would close it, and I would put it back, and
That
then I would
sounds
go back
like-
to bed.
I was gonna
I,
say, at the time, I didn't think that your roommate Will liked me very much, but in
He-
hindsight, he
What?
probably liked me a lot because I would take you away.
Well, I wish that anybody had ever taken him away.
Yeah.
He never left. He kept normal human hours, which was worse for me, and he never left the room.
Oh man.
It's true. It was really hard to like interact with Ben because, well, Will
I was always
there.
asleep, and Will was always there.
Yeah.
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 That's why we had to
Just
take
remembering
Ben
all
away.
those times. Yeah, I'm just remembering all those times where you would knock on my door at like 9 p.m. and I would get up for the first time.
Oh
and
no.
Downstairs to the dining hall to get my first meal of the day.
Hey Ben,
And-
it's Taco Tuesday. Oh,
and it's a
breakfast
good-
great.
And it's a good thing that Will was in the room for those times. Because
Oh,
otherwise I would not have opened the door and starved to death.
Yeah, mood.
Oh
He
man.
would
I
come
liked
in,
all the
and he'd be
times
like,
that
"Oh,
I-
Ben's in his boxers because he hasn't left bed all
Man,
day."
Ben
And then
really
he'd,
has
like,
grown
put
since
this on and
college.
Not much. Not much.
Yeah, now I wear pajama pants.
Yeah.
So today at work, like speaking of people who don't grow, I overheard a couple of the doctors having a conversation, and they were talking about somebody being 4'11" and how that made them like a shrimpy bastard.
And
I said, Hey, I'm 4'11", and they all like sprinted towards me and just harangued me for like a solid 10 minutes about my height. They were like, "Really? You're that short? There's no way you're that short. That's Paula Abdul's height. Did you know that? Can you get benefits? Are you
Wait,
short
how
enough to
old
get
are
benefits?"
the people that you work with that they know Paula Abdul's height?
It varies.
Oh man, that's
Well,
Paula
I mean,
Abdul's height.
That's Paula Abdul's
Imagine
height.
that being like a unit of measurement, though.
But like, I couldn't
Like, oh
Like-
yes, the spaceship is 18 Paula Abduls long.
couldn't like react to anything else that was happening fast
Probably
enough
a small
except
spaceship, huh?
that one statement. I just went, "Huh, really?"
Well, I mean,
And that's all that I got to say in the whole interaction.
Noah, you must build your Arc 40 Paula Abdul's high.
And then Noah's sitting there like, yeah, definitely, Lord, for sure. And then he's like, I don't know what the fuck that means.
What the fuck's a Paula Abdul?
well, you know what they say in Milwaukee.
No!
Ben,
You said to wrap it up. Jesus Christ. What
I
does the
don't-
Skook have to say?
The Skook is telling me that he doesn't know what they say in Milwaukee, and also I'm slowly suffocating from the Frank's Red Hot fumes.
Wait, can you say you know what they say in Milwaukee in the Skook voice?
Oh gosh.
Can you?
I can,
think,
but
like,
it
yeah,
wouldn't
give
be
it
that
to me.
interesting.
Give it to me.
Blah, blah, blah. Oh, you know what they say up there in Milwaukee, but Gotta hike fucking 5,000 miles to get over there. It's like pissing up a rope, but
It's like, what?
it's like pissing up a rope. It's real hard.
Oh.
Okay, awesome. We have our
Chris,
stopping point.
Is the podcast over?